You know the feeling. You're paying for that super fast gigabit internet. You run a speed test, you see these huge numbers, but sometimes it just feels sluggish. So today, we're going to follow the data and find out what's really going on with our internet's performance.
It is the most frustrating thing, right? You're trying to stream a movie, pop on a video call, or maybe get a game in, and everything is just lagging, buffering. You run that speed test, and it says you've got hundreds of megs per second. So what gives? What's the disconnect here? Well, the answer is all about what we're actually measuring.
Okay, so here's the crucial difference, the thing your ISP doesn't always spell out. They sell you on throughput, which is also called bandwidth. The best way to think about it is like a highway. Throughput is how wide the highway is, how many cars can be on it at the same time. But what you actually feel when you're using the internet, that sense of speed, is latency. Latency is the delay. You could have a 20-lane superhighway, but if every single car has to wait a full minute just to get on the on-ramp, that whole journey is still going to feel incredibly slow.
To really get a handle on latency, we've got to follow the journey your data takes. I mean, every single time you click a link, you send a message, you do anything online, your data goes on a trip. It's a round trip from your computer out to a server somewhere in the world and then all the way back again.
The technical name for this trip is round trip time, or RTT for short. You can think of it like this. You mail a letter and you start a stopwatch. You only stop it when you get a reply back in your mailbox. That total time, that's your RTT. A low RTT means everything feels snappy and instant. A high RTT? Well, that's lag. That number is what really defines how fast your connection feels.
And here's the thing. That journey isn't just one straight shot. You can break it down into two really distinct parts. First up, you've got the last mile. That's the final hop, the connection from your internet provider's local hub to your house. Then there's the internet highway. That's the massive global network that connects your provider to all the servers for Google, Netflix, you name it. And that frustrating delay, it can happen in either part of the journey.
For a long time, the standard way to check for latency was using a tool called ping. But as a team of researchers from Karlstad University and Red Hat pointed out, using ping is kind of like checking for traffic at 3 in the morning. Sure, the roads are clear, but it tells you absolutely nothing about what real rush hour traffic looks like. It completely misses the traffic jams that your actual game data or Netflix stream gets stuck in.
So to get around this problem, these researchers built this brilliant new tool they called Epping. Now, instead of sending out its own little test signals, Epping is way smarter. It acts more like a high-tech traffic camera. It just sits quietly inside the ISP's network and passively watches all the real traffic as it goes by, measuring the round-trip time for every single request. It gives them a perfect real-world picture of what's going on. Now, you'd think that watching every single piece of data for an entire internet service provider would take a supercomputer, right? But get this, their Epping tool was so incredibly efficient that it only added about 1% of extra load on the hardware. That efficiency is a total game changer, and it's what made this whole study possible in the first place. Okay, so with this powerful new tool running, for the first time ever, these researchers could see the internet's true rush hour. And what they found points to two major culprits, two big bottlenecks in the system. The first major bottleneck they found wasn't out there on the huge global internet highway. No, it was actually surprisingly close to home. It was happening in that final last mile of the connection, the part that brings the internet into our homes.
And the data they pulled from that last mile? Wow, it tells a pretty dramatic story. During a typical day, the latency is a nice, quick 18 milliseconds. But during peak evening hours, between 6 and 10 p.m., it just skyrockets to over 120 milliseconds. That's a massive jump in delay. And of course, it's happening at the exact time most of us are trying to unwind and actually use the internet.
So what's causing this evening traffic jam? Well, the researchers found what they call a long latency tail. And the most likely suspect here isn't actually your ISP's main lines. It's congestion on our own in-home Wi-Fi networks. Just think about it. Everyone in your house, everyone in your neighbor's house, all on their phones, streaming, gaming, video calling, all at the same time. The airwaves just get jam-packed, and that competition for bandwidth creates those frustrating delays.
But that last-mile congestion, that's not the whole story. Once your data gets past your house and hits that massive internet highway, a totally different factor kicks in, and that is pure physical distance. As it turns out, where your content is coming from matters a lot.
This study was done at an ISP in Texas. So check this out. When a user was accessing something hosted nearby, like in a Dallas data center, the round-trip time was a fantastic 18 milliseconds. But if that content was coming from a server on the east or west coast of the US, that jumped to 46 milliseconds. And for servers located over in Asia or Africa, we're talking over 200 milliseconds of delay. That's just the speed of light for you. That physical distance creates a delay that you can absolutely feel.
So now that we've kind of identified our two main villains, that evening rush hour in our own homes and the simple distance to servers, the real question is, what now? What do we do about it? How does knowing all this actually lead to a faster feeling internet for all of us?
All right, let's just boil this all down. Takeaway number 1. Your home Wi-Fi and that local connection, the last mile, is a huge reason things feel laggy, especially at night. Number 2, geography is destiny. Content that's physically far away is always going to feel a bit slower. And number 3, and this is the big one, for the first time ever, amazing new tools like ePing mean that ISPs can finally see these hidden delays, which could lead to much, much better diagnostics.
And that leads us to the big, lingering question that all of this new visibility creates. Now that we can actually see these traffic jams in perfect detail, whose job is it to fix them? Is it up to the ISP to manage the Wi-Fi congestion happening inside your apartment? Is it up to Netflix or other content providers to move their servers closer to you? It's a huge conversation that we're all going to need to have as we figure out what the next generation of the internet is going to look like.